Hi everyone. Today let us discuss about email etiquette. In the professional world, business communication is very important. And in business communication, the most important element is writing effective emails. Your emails can decide whether you will get the contract or you will lose your business. So up to your email, others can identify your language ability and your well organized behavior too. So, in this lesson, we are going to learn how to draft better email. So, we may discuss about subject, how to frame better subject, greeting and opening of a mail, then the tone that we have to use in every mail, and moreover, we may focus on the closing of the email too. So let us examine or explore how to write better email. Hi everyone. Now let us discuss tips for writing effective emails. Actually, as we said earlier, it is better to write wonderful emails to best in the business. So, tip number one, while you draft email, take enough time. So before you draft, plan, and while you draft, take time and draft your email. If you're writing your email in a hurry, then there will be more mistakes. So it is always better to take time and write your email effectively. Second aspect, make your email eye catching. What do you mean by eye catching? For example, while seeing certain email, then it will be very difficult to read and understand what is there. There will be a very lengthy passage and everything will be all together. So, in order to make it eye catching, we have to use short paragraphs. If the paragraph is very short, we can read it in a better manner. Then, always there should be space between paragraphs. For example, if there is space between paragraph, then it will be eye-catching. Next element is that always use bullet point for certain aspects. For example, if you want to convey certain instructions, use bullet points. If you want to convey certain guidelines, again it is better to use bullet points. So that is necessary. Next is that use short sentences. People are living in a busy world. Email is not a place to showcase your extraordinary vocabulary like Shashi Tharoor. It is better to use short sentences. And I would like to show you one sample email. So here it is. So you can view that. For example, here we have. So first of all, let us examine an email which is not properly maintained. Okay. So I hope you can see this. So subject is there. Then hi Eric. This is about department meeting scheduled for coming Tuesday. And this is not eye-catching. Everything in all together. Even though it is divided into paragraphs, this is not actually good. We can rearrange the same thing like this. It's beautiful now. It is eye-catching. So other person can understand there are three major points with regard to the arrangement. So Eric is supposed to do certain arrangements. So these are the Eric can easily understand. These are the arrangement. So in the above case, we have to read and we have to identify these are the major aspects. It will be difficult for people in business to read each and everything. So it is always better to frame your email in such a way that it is eye catching. So always make your email eye catching. Okay, next element, be careful with emojis. People often use emojis, smileys, and everything. But always remember that emojis are unprofessional. It is not considered as professional. Okay. Now, the fourth element, always review for errors. Before sending your email, always check for errors. If there is any errors, rectify it. And it is better to, it's my personal recommendation, it is better to use some plugins like Grammarly, then you can review your email in a better manner. Next one, be clear and specific. If you want to convey something, write that only. We don't want extra elements in that. Okay. And the last element, use single topic. For example, if you want to convey about a meeting, write the email about that meeting only. And if you want to convey something else, frame another email. Never use many things, many topic in one email. Okay, these are the tips for effective emails. So let us discuss more about email etiquette. So the first element of an email is a subject, and it is a mandatory element. Always remember to write subject for your email, especially while you draft a professional or a formal email. Subject is mandatory because others can understand what the mail is all about. So there are two important aspects in every subject. First of all, use short noun phrases. Second element, use the most important word. So let us understand how to do this. Consider that this is my subject. I would like to give an update on the location of our new retail store. Over here, this is very lengthy. We always mention it should be short noun phrases. But this is not short noun phrases. So we can cut certain unwanted words. So the you can find the unwanted words marked over here. So if you delete these unwanted words, it may look like this. Update on location of our new retail store. Is this a better subject? Compared to the first one, this is good, but this is not the best. How you can make it the best subject? In order to make it the best subject, you have to use the essential or the most important words towards the beginning. So, which is the most important word over here? Actually, on what we are talking about? We are talking about new retail store. So, we can start with new retail store. Then it will be like this: new retail store location update. So, compared to the all other subject, this is the best, and this is in very short noun phrase. At the same time, most important word is used towards the beginning of the subject. So this is all about subject. Subject should be short noun phrases and always use most important words at the beginning of every subject. Okay. Next one. Now we can understand more about email greeting and opening. So in every formal mail or in every mail, greeting is another mandatory element. So if you're writing a formal mail, then you can write all the four greetings. Dear Mr. Matthew, dear Miss Susan, Mr. Matthew, or simply without mentioning dear or Mr. or any salutation, you can mention the name of the person. That is Anuja. Okay. So we have used colon over here. Colon is the representation of very formal element over there. So if it is colon, then you can consider it as a very formal email. Okay. And while you mention Mr. in front of a name, it should be the second name or the surname. Over here, we can find Neutral greetings. For example, Dear Praveen, and Praveen is the first name. We won't use second name over here. Then, Dear Anuja, these are first name. And another important thing, I even mentioned it before, Mr. or Miss is not used with person's first name. So you cannot mention Dear Mr. Praveen. Always better to mention Dear Mr. Matthew because Matthew is the second name of Praveen. So I hope you understood it. So we have formal greeting over here and examples of neutral greeting. Now we have informal. You can mention Hi Praveen, Hi Anuja. The next one, if you don't know the name, for example, you don't know the name of a person to whom you are sending the mail, then you can mention that particular, you can address him with his position. For example, Dear Marketing Manager, Dear Sales Manager. You can mention likewise. Then, if you're addressing a group, then we can mention Dear All, Team. So the first two are formal and the last two are informal. Okay, likewise, you can use it. Next one, we can discuss about the tone of your email. The first one is formality. With regard to formality, it can be formal or informal. At the same time, there will be a tone of which is direct or even indirect. So let us understand more about formal or informal mail. To whom you are going to frame a formal mail? For example, first of all, you have to decide whether your mail is formal or informal. For example, if you are sending an email to a person for the first time, or if you don't know that person personally, then you should be formal. If you know the person well, then you can be informal or even neutral. For example, if you're sending a mail to your colleague, then it is better to be informal. Or if you don't want to be more informal, it is better to be neutral. Okay, so here is an example. I am writing regarding the annual sale contract. So this particular sentence is totally formal. Why it is formal? Because of the words used over there. I am writing regarding. So it makes this particular sentence formal. Next one. This is about next staff meeting. This mail is about next staff meeting. This particular word about, make it more informal. So likewise, you have to understand the tone in a better manner. So if you are writing an email to your superior, you should be formal. If you're writing to your friend or your colleague, then it should be less formal or even neutral. So likewise, you can decide. So in tone, one more aspect is there, direct or indirect. So let us understand when to use direct and when to use indirect. If you know the answer of a particular request, then you can be direct. For example, the first sentence over here is a direct request. Can you handle the lecture tomorrow? I know the answer will be yes. That's why I'm direct. Okay, if I don't know the answer, then I should be indirect. For example, so the last two sentences are the example of indirect request. Could it be possible for you to deliver a lecture for my students next day? Or you can ask, I was wondering if you would be able to deliver a lecture for my students on next day. The meaning of all the three sentences are same, but you have to ask these questions as per the situation and as per the person to whom you are asking. Okay, so you have to Decide whether to use indirect or direct. Now we can understand about the closing of an email. For example, you wrote a particular email and you want a reply from that person, then you can end your mail like this, looking forward to hearing from you. Actually, otherwise you can mention thank you. Okay, you can wind up your mail by saying thank you, or you can mention looking forward to hear from you if you await a reply. Then you have to use a closing remark. For example, sincerely. If it is a very formal mail, you can use sincerely and it is a better word. Then, if it is totally informal, you can use best. If it is neutral, best regards. Otherwise, you can directly mention your name. That is also totally informal. You can put a hyphen, then you can mention or you can write your name. And with regard to formal mail, along with your name, you have to mention your position also. So these are the better ways for closing your email. So hope you understood it. So that's all for today. Have a nice day.